Hey everyone, welcome to Murphy's Law Garage. Today we're going to play with some of Mbrp's pipes, and we're going to go ahead and make exhaust great again. Stick around. So, what do I mean by playing with Mbrp's pipes? Well, I have a pair of aluminized steel 45s with some long dog legs. This is offered on Mbrp's site for doing custom stuff. And I need to use this to delete the mufflers off of the exhaust system I just installed on the car. Let me show you why. All right, so we just installed this awesome quad tip exhaust on the car. I'll link it down below. We even cut the valence to fit it because this was a dual outlet car, not a quad. So it was missing the extra space in the valence here. Now, the problem is, and it was the same before, this part of the exhaust weighs a bunch. I don't know exactly how much. Those mufflers in this pipe, that's gotta be no less than 25, 30 pounds times 2. And two other issues occur with horsepower, and that is, for one, there's restriction in the muffler. There always will be. And then there's restriction in this last 90 that we made right here. And it's a very harsh one. The dual setup made a much straighter path coming out right here. So it will actually help horsepower to get rid of this last significant direction change right here. And it will shed a ton of weight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those 45s that Mbrp sent over, and I'm going to make a clamp on turn down, just a quick and dirty turn down right here, that whenever I'm going to go for a track day, I can unbolt all of the weight of these mufflers off the back and then redirect my exhaust down and out underneath the car. Now, some guys will put turn downs way up here by the headers, and there's 2 reasons why you don't want to do this, maybe 3. Thing 1, that is wildly loud and vibrates the hell out of the car. Okay, that's thing 1. Thing 2, it actually hurts horsepower a little bit to get rid of this H pipe right here. Horsepower and torque, that was tested by Engine Masters quite a bit. So we want to retain the H pipe here. Now you could make a turn down in the middle here that retain the H pipe, but we're not concerned about that because of number 3. And that is, if your turn downs are way up here on the car and the car hurts the engine and spits oil or coolant down on the track, guess where it's going? On your tires. Now that doesn't mean that the engine itself isn't going to burp it up all over the ground, but you very for sure don't want the exhaust throwing anything on the ground that could cause you to lose traction while doing 120, 30, 40, 50 plus mile an hour down the track. So ideally, we want this exhaust to exit behind the plane of the rear tires. And it just so happens to be that that turn right here is almost pointed dead on at the back of the tire right here. So the only thing we need to do is to get it away from the tire. So with a short piece of that 45, we're gonna turn that sucker like this, right? So it's gonna come out at us, basically, where we're laying right now, so that the exhaust can't possibly get to the tire, and we remove all of this weight. So the very first thing we need to do is to remove the mufflers. To save myself time and trouble when we take this exhaust on and off again, I'm gonna put locating marks on the pipes so I know exactly where they were previously aligned. And then I'm gonna unbolt a bolt here on that clamp, and then slip it out of its hangers. Be right back. All right, and just like that, we have the mufflers pulled off and chilling in the grass. Now, I'm gonna go grab the pipes and we're gonna try to line up on this. You can see how it's actually, here's the spring, just to try to give you a distance reference here. Like that, and it is basically, if I trace it out, it's right into the side of the tire. So all we need to do is sweep that exhaust out at about an angle like this, so there's no chance of oil hitting that tire. Let's grab the pipe. All right, so I'm staring down 2 options right here. It turns out this bend right here is also a 45, and I could replicate that 45 and then turn it straight and then just point it straight out the back of the car. And that would eliminate a 45 here and get us behind the back tires with no risk of wetting. The problem is, and the thing I don't like is dealing with the proximity to the diff and the IRS subframe. I could do it. I'm thinking about it. I'm considering it. I'll have to go grab some exhaust hangers. I don't know that I want to remove another bolt back here just to slip something else in, which is basically what I'd have to do. Putting the exhaust right here is also an option, and sweeping down. I don't know. I'm going to go stare at it at the bench for a while, think about my options, and decide whether or not I want to actually cut it here. Not cut it, but break it here as well, and then possibly just point straight, both pipes straight out the back of the car versus sweeping down towards the ground behind the tire. The benefits I see in the middle here versus the sides would be easier for a quick swap, right? Just a dumping to the side here. But if I exit in the center, if it did decide to oil the track, it would be in the center of the track and out of the path of cars, mostly. And I'd be removing another 90 here. The other thing is, and you can see I've got the jack under the wheel here. I've actually brought it up. There is a pretty tight clearance between these two. Let me put my hand in it. We'll call it 3 fingers. Yes, 3 fingers between these two. So you only have so much room to make this sweep before you might actually interfere with the control arm. So let me go stare at it on the workbench for a while, and we'll see exactly what I do here. So I dug in one of my many boxes of goodies. There's many boxes of goodies in the shop. And I came up with these old school rubber hanger style isolators like this. And I'm thinking I can probably get away with grabbing it like this and then bolting to the frame. I went look at getting some stock, just some metal, like 3/8 bar, to do some bending. I don't have a torch in the shop, and I'd rather not beat on my vise and my bench to try to bend some stuff up when I already have these style hangers. And I really don't mind this style, solely because I can make use of a bolting point that I'm already going to have to disconnect to get the mid pipe, that section of pipe loose anyway. So let me see if I can make this work. All right, so after staring at it under the car for way too long, I decided where I'm going to make the first cut to establish where I'm going to come around the differential. What I've done is I've taken one of my 3-inch slip-on clamps and I've placed it on so that I can trace a perfectly straight line all the way around the pipe, and then I'm going to make a cut. All right, don't make fun of my very old skill saw. It's one of those things where when I had almost no money, it was a very expensive tool for me to buy. Even though it's not, it is a cheap piece of crap. I can't find myself to get rid of it because, well, it works every time. Anyways, let's fuck up this pipe. Like I said, it works every time. It will die someday. I don't know. This is a deburring tool. This is a piece of pipe with many sharp edges. And if you take a deburring tool and you do this in a circle around the inside and the outside enough, it no longer has sharp edges. They're very cheap on Amazon. Buy one. All right, and that's what I'm thinking right there. You can see that I've just got it temporarily clamped up where it's just tight enough that I can still twist. Here's one of my generic clamps right here that can be welded on like this, and it, like, the bolt hole even perfectly aligns with the factory location in that second hole right there. I don't know which way I'm gonna turn this yet, but whatever. Anyways, if I back out, look at it dead on, bam, see we're in the center of the car here? That is dead nuts. Now I may, it's not quite square to the back of the car. Look, that's square right there. So I might actually cut the angle into it. I don't know if I care that much. We'll see. Regardless, let's go make another one that matches this side, and we'll see what it looks like. Do you have a bench grinder? You don't? Well, you should. But no worries. A file and some sandpaper will really clean this edge up. Let me get this right. Much nicer. All right, you can see here I've got both pieces of pipe in place. I've got both of the hangers touching the pipes. I'm a little low, but let me get up to flat under the car. That's flat under the car. And the pipes are pretty close to flat to the exhaust gases coming out here. I don't think they're gonna turn up. I might put some turn downs on it to turn it down some more. That's probably not necessary. It looks like there would be pretty good straight through clearance right here with it just the way that it is. Regardless, if you were using this style clamp that I'm using, it actually would allow for a, let me zoom out a bit. It would actually allow for a zip tie, a metal zip tie to be put on here, or a clamp. Either of them are technically a viable answer if you don't have a welding machine. I would use like a just a U-bolt style clamp on it. They also make some really, these days, there's some really nice high pressure, high tension stainless zip ties you could use here. And really, it would be perfectly fine. There's no real stress here. You're just holding a little bit of the tail weight of the mid pipe here. But I'm gonna go ahead and mark these pipes, bring it inside, and throw some weld on it. Now look, a professional welder, I am not. But I will bubble gum something until it holds still, okay? Now look, I don't all profess to be the master welder, especially not with the Harbor Freight Special MIG running flux core on dirty surfaces, and I haven't welded in a few years. I'm done with my excuses. It's welded. It's not pretty. I need to clean up the slag all over it. But you know what it is? They're really hot welds that are absolutely not coming off. And if you stare at them long enough to cry about it, I'm gonna just punch you in the face. Okay? Okay. How's that saying go again? A grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. And for any of you welding tools behind the keyboard, there's plenty of penetration. I don't want to hear it. Anyways, let me get a thin coat of paint on that so it doesn't rust where I've ground and welded on it, and we're gonna get it on the car. Oh, and I'm gonna use our channel sponsor, Super Clean. Always around here if you're looking. I'm going to use their degreaser to clean these pipes up really well. Thank you for being a sponsor, Super Clean. Oh yeah, while you weren't looking, I got rid of the hideous pigtails on it and rounded my corners off and cleaned them up. Sorry about that. First coat. Coat 2. Now, is this high temp paint? Absolutely not. Is it going to burn off? Maybe so. Who knows? We'll find out. The long and the short is that these pipes are going to come on and off the car often, get scratched up, and need to be recoated anyways. So I guess we'll see how well Rust-Oleum semi-gloss protective enamel does. YOLO. And there it is. Final coat. See what I mean? Grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. Anyways, they look great. I'm gonna let them dry. It's 1,000,000 degrees, even though it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we'll get them on the car. I don't know if the sun's gonna stay up long enough for that, but we'll find out. All right, y'all, it's been like 20 hours since I made these, and they were painted, and they've been out in the sun, and they were in the air conditioning all night, and the paint's mostly probably sort of dry. Let's get them bolted on the car. Jake's here now. He can help me get you a sound clip of what it sounds like. No, we're not going to go drive it on the road. It is wet. We will die. But we'll give you a sound clip of what it sounds like idle and rev. Boom. And there we go. Just like that. I've got my dump pipes installed. Takes literally minutes to put them on. No biggie. When swapping out the mufflers. Get you a head-on shot so you can see how gangster that looks. Yep. Let's go ahead and start it up and then give you a rev. All right, so taking the dumps out literally is like a 1-minute ordeal. Loosen 2 bolts and they're out. I've got the dual quad set up here pre-bolted together with some alignment marks that I made, and I'm just gonna slip it right back into the car because I already know where the alignment needs to be because of those marks, and it's just gonna take a couple extra minutes to put the hanger bolts back in. All right, here's a video in real time as to how easy it is to put this stuff back together again. The sun's in my eyes and I'm tired, but watch how quickly this happens. All right, and that's it. All I gotta do is put the bolts in and tighten them up. And just like that, the quad tips are back on again. Now I'm sure if you hadn't seen the videos before, you wanna hear what it sounds like, we're gonna show you right here. All right, super easy to fab something up. Took longer to wait for the paint to dry than anything. Super easy to take the mufflers off, put the dumps on, put the mufflers back on. If you're a track day person and you want to relieve that weight and back pressure and really help the car out, this is the way to do it. And I mean, it's got to be 60 plus pounds worth. So y'all, ask Jake, those mufflers are heavy. And that's not even including the midsection pipe that connects to it, the quarter section. Anyways, thank y'all for watching the video. We love you. God bless. Peace.
Dang it.